Evan Mathis, Super Bowl champ. Welcome back to Tuscaloosa. I hope you're doing well.
I'm doing great. Thanks for having me.
Absolutely. What's it been like winning the Super Bowl and a couple of months removed from that to sort of soak all that in?
It's been fun riding that wave. Obviously, as a dream comes true to be able to achieve that, and then just everything after that, it makes every day a little brighter. So, I mean, I'm still riding that wave. I'm sure I'll ride that wave for the rest of my life. And, I'm looking forward to this season with the Cardinals. It'd be nice to get another one.
Absolutely. And, if I remember correctly, and I'm trying to think about after the game, I think Joe Namath was walking that trophy up there. Did you slip him a Roll Tide?
I was screaming Roll Tide at him, but he passed the trophy off about 10 feet before he got to me. I was trying to slip one in there.
I got you. What a legend he is. And we have a chance to feature him. We just shut up and let him talk, man. He's such a great figure, part of the game, and not only Alabama history, but the NFL history as well. But what is it like also playing with another legendary player in Peyton Manning, and what did you learn from him as part of the game?
You see a guy like Peyton who goes about his daily routine just like a true professional. Even in his 18th season, he's diligent in the classroom. He's always studying. He's always preparing for what the next defense is going to bring. He's a great communicator. He's always talking with the receivers about the routes and the offensive line about the protection. And he never just took it easy. He was always working really hard. He always had your back. And obviously he's one of the all-time greats. And being around him firsthand, I kind of see why he was.
When he's barking out all those signals and draining that play clock down, how much is that confusing? I mean, is he changing those assignments? Is he? How much of that have you got to be in tune to because he's changing something there with all those directions, or is that more for the skill position guys?
No, we're all in tune to it. We practice all that very much. Usually, in that offense, we would go to the line with 2 or 3 plays called. And based on what Peyton saw or what we saw, he would check the play to the other plays that were already called to something more favorable against that defense. So that's usually what you see when you see him making those calls. It's changing the play at the line of scrimmage and putting ourselves in a better situation.
Evan, if I would have walked up to you in 2005 when you left the University of Alabama, was drafted there by Carolina, and told you that you would have played 12 years, you're going into your 13th year, what would you have told me?
I would have told you I'm aiming for 10, but I hope you're right.
What was it that has allowed you to play? And really, I was talking to the audience a couple of minutes ago about the turnaround. I mean, I think you would probably agree that at one time you thought your career was probably done in the NFL. What led to the turnaround?
I just kept working really hard. I know I've always had the skill set. When I came into the league, I was kind of a raw talent at guard, having only played 1 year there. 1 year left guard my senior year. Then the first couple years in the league, I was trying out right guard. My offensive line coach got fired. The next coaching staff moved me to tackle. A year later, I was playing center. I got cut twice that year. And I just stayed with it. I was relentless. Playing football in the NFL was a lifelong dream of mine, and I wasn't going to let it slip by me without giving it everything I got. So, I kept working and I found a way.
When you think about Arizona, if I'm not mistaken, you make your off-season home there. Is that correct?
Yeah, I've been here for almost a decade. So when this unfolded, it was kind of, a beautiful convenience for me to be able to, it's a 30-minute drive to work now. My kids get to stay in school and not have to move around and lose friends, and we get to develop our healthy routine here at home. And it's nice, and it limits the travel we do. We still come to Alabama for a few times every year, but this makes everything much more convenient.
Evan, have you thought about what you would like to do at the end of football? And I don't know when that is for you. It may be 5 years from now. It may be several years from now.
It won't be that long. I don't have much. I don't want to play too much longer.
So, have you thought about what you would like to do post football?
I'm pretty good at staying busy. I've got my training facility out here in Arizona, Zone Athletic Performance, that I love spending time at, and helping people get their fitness and their physical transformations and just everywhere they need to be and overall health improve. I like one one of my favorite hobbies is sports cards and memorabilia. I spend a lot of time doing stuff like that. And then, I just want to be there for my kids and my family, watch my kids grow up, and just enjoy my family. So, I'm kind of looking forward to life after football. I'm going to give it all I got while I'm here. And, I think the transition will be smooth for me when it's all said and done.
Well, Bruce Arians, we had him on last week, man. He's an old style coach, man. I mean, he was dropping some great nuggets. We were talking about physical football, and we're talking about in some of the leagues that in college they're eliminating tackling. And he just went off on our segment here. So he's an old school guy. I think you'll like him.
Yeah, Bruce Arians he's a brilliant guy. And every single person I've ever talked to that knows him has rave reviews for him as a coach and more importantly as a person. So I'm really looking forward to working this next year with him.
Evan, I'd like to get your thoughts on what's happening here at your alma mater. It's a historic run, 4 out of the last 7. They're currently in spring practice. This team looks like they're primed and ready to go at another chance for a national title. From a football perspective, can you help us understand what's happening here at Alabama?
Coach Saban has really developed the right mentality and the right culture. It's become a way of life around there. It's all about getting guys in the right routine, getting them. He knows he has the formula for success, and he does a great job of communicating it to those guys, and they do a great job of buying in. And all that right there just leads to more progress with your recruiting. Guys know what's there. They know what they're committing to if they come to the University of Alabama. So that's where we are right now. We're in the middle of you can almost pretty much call it a dynasty. What Saban has done over the past few years.
What type of pride is that in the locker room that you wear your Alabama memorabilia around all those SEC guys or other schools? And I know they sort of hate us because they ain't us, I guess is the way to say it. But what's that like in that locker room with so many different mixed allegiances to their school? Walking around with your head a little bit high, looking at what Alabama's been able to accomplish.
Yeah, I mean you just said it right there. You walk around with a little more pride wearing your gear. It's always fun whenever Alabama's playing anybody. It's always fun to have some friendly trash talk with whoever we're playing, and we have fun with it. And obviously there's a ton of pride there. It's pretty cool when your team wins the national championship and you go on and win a Super Bowl. Not many people can say that.
Evan, I'd like to pick your brain from an offensive lineman standpoint. The NFL rule is 1 yard. That you're not allowed to be down the field engaged. If you're not engaged, they'll call you for ineligible lineman downfield. It's been a huge debate in college football. It's a 3-yard rule, and they really haven't called it at 3 yards. They've been letting it slide 4, 5, 6, 7 yards down the field. You played there in Philadelphia under Chip Kelly. Now, he was one of those guys that violated it quite a bit. I mean, his system, you've got Baylor who does it a lot. I'm just curious from an offensive line perspective of how much you see it as an advantage when an offensive lineman can fire down the field. You might be 4 or 5 yards down the field, but you can still throw the football. Do you have a little empathy for those linebackers and safeties trying to read offensive linemen?
Not really, because if you reference Chip Kelly's system, a lot of the plays in his system are they're initially called a run. And no matter what, the offensive lineman will never know that the quarterback has decided to throw until he throws it. So if it's called a run, we're going to do our run assignment. And if that means the guard is getting up on the linebacker, that's his job. He's just going to go get up on the linebacker, and if the quarterback, release, he's going to throw fast in those situations. So I feel that's why there's such a gray area, and a lot of guys get away with it because it's such a fast throw that those guys are climbing to the second level. But I think the rule is in place to kind of keep offensive linemen from getting out there and picking linebackers from covering routes and things like that. But I don't think there's a lot of teams using it to that advantage. I think they're really doing it honestly, and the guys are on their run blocking assignments, and when there's a pass thrown, it's just that's just part of the game. If it's a run pass call at the same time.
Well, let me ask you this. Speaking of a guard, we've got a guard here that was played all 15 games. He's making a transition to center. How difficult is that for a guard to go to center to be able to play that position. Left guard, Ross Pierce-Baker, making a transition from left guard to center. Just talking about the fundamentals of that position.
Well, I think going to that position, I think if he has the experience already at guard, he knows the offense, knows the communication. For him, it's just going to be a little bit of technical stuff with snapping the ball, getting his feet right. I think it's an easier transition than, say, a center having to move to another position. And I think it's going to go a long way that he already has experience.